Here it is, my YT JeFFsY frame down to the bare bones. Just got to get pressed in bearings out of the head tube and bottom bracket. Then the rear shock holding it together. First things first, after taking everything apart, you have to know how to correctly remove the old paint from the frame. This being a carbon frame, you have to do it by hand. So yeah, I'll show you a little bit about that process. Have to remove any kind of these protection stickers, and oh, this one's coming off nice. Perfect. That's what you want. This is where all the patience and where, well, the most important part of the job probably is in the preparation all the time. So this being a carbon frame, you have to sand everything by hand. So I want to take off what the manufacturer put on as far as paint. But you can see here, I wanted to show you this spot because this shows you all the different levels. As you do this slowly, it will take down the layers of clear coat, if there's any, the paint, and then there's usually a primer, and then you hit the carbon fiber material itself. And you don't want to burn through, once you see that primer, which is like this white area, that's when you want to stop sanding around those areas to get the carbon. So those are good spots to stop sanding there. I just hit the primer there, and in these spots I haven't yet, but I want to go to a less coarse of a sandpaper as I get closer to that area. So right now I am using a 320 grit. I'm doing dry the first pass, and then I'm going to move to a wet sandpaper. And here is the frame. You can see other areas. I haven't hit the primer there yet, but you can see, hopefully it catches it, but there's different levels of the paint. I went through their decal, the YT decal, and then there's some paint that I went through, and gonna get to the primer right there. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough how important the prep is, oops, in all these parts, because that's where it takes, that's where you want to spend your time. The paint, that's where you want to have everything done correctly, and you have to think about it less. The paint is just the creative side of it. So yeah, this takes time. The process doesn't look good, but we'll see in the end result, right? At the end of this video. So hopefully the camera picks this up, but I wanted to show it to you how smooth this side. I've started the wet sanding. This is 400 grit wet sanding paper, and it's nice and smooth. As to this side, where it's still the 320 dry, just to start it off. So yeah, it's getting there. I have just at that area where the carbon is going to start showing. This is a dirty process. Got my wet sanding paper and sitting here sanding everything down. Time, patience, and good music will make this go by. Here we go. Here is the frame back in, well, almost its original color. This is a primer that I shot. I sanded everything down and got it to where I want it, but now it's nice and smooth, but not smooth enough. Just when you think you sanded enough, you gotta sand some more. So everything was pretty smooth, so I wanted to keep it that way. And now I'm going to wet sand this primer with 600 wet. All right, finally ready to lay some base coat down. Have all my holes plugged up where I don't want to get paint in. Got all these hanging here, so I don't have to fight with them and move them around. But everything is nice and covered and ready to go. got the base coat black down. Now I'm going to go with the section I want to paint white, but this is where it gets creative. This is the first time that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do paint the base coat white, and then I'm going to do what is called a real smoke paint job. You'll see what I mean in a second, but hopefully it turns out really cool. Hopefully you guys like it. So let's get some white base coat down. Alright, now it's time for the creative part. And what you need is the black suit looking stuff. You don't need this white stuff. So you can see that black stuff will be on the white paint. Need to get the tape off on some of these sections here, and this is what it's looking like before clear. Alright, different lighting option here. Outside in the direct sunlight, the smoke kind of, there's too much reflection on the white color, so you can't see it as well unless you're up close and personal with it, I guess. But this is how it came out. The top white portion is a flat clear coat, more of like an eggshell, and then the back, the darker portion is just your regular gloss. Got the rear shock put in and the bearings put back in, and yeah, need to get it assembled.